Andrew McGahan for SevereMMA, standing alongside Team Ryano head coach Andy Ryan. First thing I've noticed here, Andy, is this the first time in history Neil Seary's been taller than you?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Surely there's a bit of slagging going on in the gym.
Yeah. Well, what we do is when he gets photographed with the kids, we bring it down to waist height, so he's normal size then.
You called us up here, you said there's a bit of an announcement coming here for Irish MMA.
Yeah, just for me, but Battlezone. I'm back running Battlezone. Stuart is finished. Stuart did a great job when he was there. But I just felt it was time for me to get back in and start pushing it again. Because we've been sort of, not dying to death, but we've been sort of hit and miss with some of the shows, and haven't been pushing it the way we meant to push things, you know.
Are you hoping to get back to maybe the battle zones that everyone was talking about, the Philip Mulpeter, John Donnelly sort of thing? Because I know the expansion, it happened and it failed with the Cork and Limerick stuff. So is this going to be focused primarily in Dublin? Yeah,
well, it's the same thing. We're being asked to go back to Cork, which we get a great crowd, and we're being asked to go to Belfast. But we're going to stick for Dublin for the rest of this year. We're going to do just an all-amateur card in the Trinity Sports Centre, which is, you know, we're going to try and get the best of the Irish amateurs on, with some good fellas in it. And then November, back to our old school Battlezone show. Do an undercard of amateurs and try and do the minimum of 3 pro fights if we can get it. If we can do 5 pro fights, all the best. But we've been on to John is sorting out the Icelandic guys, and it'll be Ireland versus Iceland for the prelim card, and then hopefully a pro card after that, you know.
What was the decision? I know you said you got caught up in stuff and with Neil and the guys advancing in their pro careers, but do you see something with the current state of Irish MMA that you thought you needed to get back in and start putting on shows?
Yeah, I think that we did a lot of work with Battlezone with the younger guys coming up, and, you know, the Conrads and Phil Mulpeters and, you know, all them guys coming through the ranks, and Chris Boujard and stuff. So I think we need to get back in there doing it again, because we have a lot of young guys and they can't just wait for Cage Warriors every year to get on that sort of big card, and, you know, because we had the TV Satanta deal going, and which we'll have going again. So I just think that's our goal, you know.
So this is kind of in the same ilk as Paul Cowser with the Rumble and Rush to get his guys matched, or the way John did EFN to get his guys matched. It's just more consistently for the fighters to get matched.
Yeah, and to start putting a good show out there as well, you know. That's maybe a stepping stone for Cage Warriors, or for guys to get seen, to get to, you know, that UFC level. They need a few little stepping stones before that, but they need to be on TV, they need to be talked about, they need you guys coming in, interviewing them. They need all them little stepping stones, but they need not as much pressure for the amateurs, so maybe stick a few pros back on the card, so amateurs aren't headlining the cards, and it's not, you know, give them a little bit of space.
Do you think the development of a couple of guys have been stunted on these shows because of the professional production of the shows, even though it was pretty much an amateur show? You go up north, you see Cage Contender with the whole lighting rigs, you see Clan Wars following the same route. Do you think that is detrimental to the development of fighters?
Yeah, it is, because even as I had John saying, I had a conversation with John myself about it, like, amateurs coming out with, you know, groups of guys and banners over the thank me sponsored, and where they should be, you know, get in there. So what if you lose an amateur fight? You know, it doesn't mean anything. I could go out there tomorrow and have 10 amateur fights, lose them all, go pro, win my first pro fight, and I'm 1-0 in share dog. No one gives 2 shits about the 10 amateur fights. So I think the amateurs is a stepping stone and a building block, and I think Battlezone is important to that. But you do need to have the couple of pro fights on the card, so the pressure's not on them amateurs, you know.
With all due respect, do you think having a couple of pro fights also justifies the price of some of the tickets?
Yeah, of course, yeah, 100%, yeah.
So moving forward, I know you said we were looking for the show in November.
Yeah.
When will we see the second one with maybe a couple of the pro guys coming back?
Yeah, well, hopefully November is going to be the pro show. So we're going to do it in September. We already have the card match. I think we have about 14 fights on it. So it's going to be amateur only, a sports hall, no lighting rig, no frills, just like a Battlezone contender show like we've done before. A lot of the younger guys on the card, and then do a bigger show in the Regency or one of the hotels, and have maybe 5 AMI fights, and that be Ireland versus Iceland, and then a pro card.
Any hints on the card in September?
Yeah, I'll give you the when we're off this. I'll let you know who's on it.
Excellent. Oh, do you have them now, or do you have it? Oh, is it on a sheet behind that?
Somewhere on the phone, I think. I'm gonna get it.
All right.
So, roughly what the fight card is I'll let you have a look there. Look.
It is Kiefer Crosby and Paul Lawrence, Adam Caffrey, Ryan Curtis, Lloyd Manning, David Haney. Anyone else stands out? Will Fleury and Richie Crosdale. Luke Caffrey's finally making his return after a short career as a hairdresser.
Yeah.
A wee bit further down, Keith McCabe shockingly appearing on an Irish MMA card.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks pretty
We'll
good.
see Rob win back, you know.
That looks very good. What do you think of some of the matchups recently in Irish MMA? Do you think guys are... Because John spoke about this before, the pro scene dying a death in Ireland because people are... How do we resolve that?
I think take the pressure off the amateurs. Don't be afraid to take a fight that's a tough fight. I'm throwing Ayo Daly and Kiefer Crosby. That's a tough fight. You know, and people are surprised. John's throwing Kiefer in. But how are they meant to learn, or how are they meant to, you know, build their way up? Conrad had a good few losses at amateur. No, we put him in a heavyweight.
4-0 as a pro.
Yeah, you know, and he's 4-0 as a pro, and I stood to him, you know. So just because someone is a hard fight, take the hard fights. You're only going to learn from them. Go pro is a little bit different, you know, and that's one thing I think I would look at different now with the pros, but trying to keep clean records is get them decent fights, but not sandbagging fights, you know. I wouldn't be throwing guys in to lose at a pro level, you know. But I think the amateurs, you're going to learn a little bit. And I think knock this thing on the head for camps, you know, 12-week camps. If a fight comes up in 2 weeks, you're fit and you're training regular, you should be able to jump in and do it, you know.
Exactly. A lot of coaches are starting to echo that sentiment. One final thing, let's say this all goes to plan. It's the best matched amateur card in Irish MMA history. Where do you see yourself in 12 months' time? Are you afraid maybe that it'll be Battlezone 2.0 and you might make the same mistakes as the first time round, or is it you're going to really focus on fighter development?
No, I'm going to focus on fighter development, and I'm going to talk to Graham Boylan about stepping them lads up so when they fight an air show and they get a couple of good fights and they're going to go pro, get them into the Cage Warrior, so they're getting that little, there's a goal for them at the end of the day, you know, that they're not stuck on my show. I don't want to keep the guys. Some people run shows, want everyone on the show and don't fight anywhere else. Come into us, learn your trade as an amateur. Try and go, if you're going to go pro in a small show, whether it's air show, Clamours, Cage Contender, any of them, I don't give a shit. And then if you want to make that the next step, you're serious, I think Cage Warriors is the way to go, you know.
Excellent, anyway, appreciate the time.
Thanks.
Looking forward to this. Can you give us a date, for September?
27th of September. Trinity Sports and Leisure Centre. It's a contender show.
What are you doing? We're in Vegas.
I know. I might be there as well, so Keith might be running the show, hopefully.
No problem. Thank you very much, Andy.
No problem.
Appreciate the time.